Hi guys, welcome to another video of FBAN. Today I am going to do a review on one of the stocks that I own, and that is Aurora Cannabis. On the 30th of October 2018, I announced on YouTube that I had purchased some stocks of Aurora Cannabis. And during the bear trend that follows a few weeks later, or maybe a few days later, on the whole market, the price of Aurora went down, and I invested more in Aurora stocks because at the time the market was down because of a trade war between Trump and Xi Jinping, as you all well know, and that causes the whole market to go down, and Aurora went down as well. But for me, the fundamentals of Aurora remained intact. So with the market going down, it gave me an opportunity to buy more Aurora stocks at a cheaper price, and so I did. Um, like here, I announced it like around this date, I believe, 30th of October, and then the price plunged it, and I bought again around this time of period or the year till here. And I bought a couple of more around this time as well, but then I stopped because it was sideways too long, so I was waiting it out to see what was going to happen next. And look at, for me, the mark turn around and start going up, and I'm waiting for a new entry point at this moment to buy a few more Aurora Cannabis stocks, and I'm also considering buying a few long-term call options on Aurora, but I'm not sure when I'm going to do that or whether I should do that at all at the moment. And so here, this is the video that I announced or I published on YouTube. As you can see, it was on the date of 30th of October. And there you go. And I believe I also published a video about Aurora a few weeks earlier in somewhere in October, why I was planning to buy Aurora stocks. You can find that video back on my YouTube channel. And now back to the next phase in February. I believe it was around the 26th of February. I was talking to one of the person that I knew on Instagram, and I was following him, and I had a chat about all kinds of stuff. It started with Alteria, and I found out later that Alteria was buying into Kronos, and that is how we jump onto the subject of Aurora. And on the 26th of February, I told that guy that during our trading hour, when the stock market was open and Aurora was moving up finally from I believe 960 or 970 Canadian dollars, and I told him if it was if the price level ended with the close of the day above 10 Canadian dollars, then for me it would be a new buying point, because I believe that the resistance level was broken. The reason on the day why our stocks were moving up was because they announced a deal that they made in Portugal. I will talk to you about that later in the video. Yeah, by the way, just to let you guys know, I just recently started Instagram. I haven't been active much until lately, and now I'm posting almost every day something about the stock market. Mostly it's about Aurora or other cannabis stock, as you can see. Um, so if you want to gain news or insights from me on the cannabis markets or the stock market in general, I will post it there in on my Instagram, so you can follow it here. As you can see, it's my name. Back to Aurora. This week a lot of things have happened at Aurora. First of all, they have announced that they will be selling uh, cannabis oil in Germany, and when they announced that, the share price went up in the pre-market, I believe around 8% at the time. And yeah, for me that was confirming that I was right about Aurora. They are planning and preparing very well to become one of the global market leaders in the future in the cannabis industry. Prior to this news, like a few weeks before, like I mentioned earlier, uh, Aurora bought 51% ownership of Gaia Farm LDA. That's like a medical, it's like a pharmacy in Portugal, and they announced that deal on the 26th of February, and they bought it. Oh, they bought this company. Let me check real quickly. Yes, yeah. So they bought the Gaia Farm, which is a licensed applicant in Portugal, and they have established. They want to try. They want to establish a facility to produce medical cannabis and derivative products, and the company will be renamed into Aurora Portugal. And with this acquisition, they received an approval to construct a cannabis facility, and with that approval, they can also with this approval, they can start selling medical marijuana into other European countries that's already approved medical marijuana. And so let's just go back to this week. Yesterday, Aurora announced that Nelson Peltz is going to advise Aurora on expansion and exploring new partnerships. And so I go back here, like here. It was the day they announced it. So the first thought that when I read this whole news, I was like, okay, this Nelson Peltz, he's a billionaire, and apparently the guy had a lot of experience. I think that's why Aurora want to team up with him. And yeah, currently he's the CEO of the hedge funds Trian Fund Management, and currently he's a non-executive chairman on Wendy's company and a director of Protect and Gamble. So when I hear the name that he is a title that he's a director at Protect and Gamble, I think, hey, that's a good thing, because Protect and Gamble is a huge company, so he's very well connected. And before I go into Nelson Peltz more in deeply. I'll just go back here, and when I found out that Nelson he will get paid in options in the coming 4 years, so 4 years from now. He will get in total of 20 million options, and what I heard from others is that depending on the performance of the stock price, he will get a bit of option each quarter from now on. So, and oh, they made a deal that when the stock price of Aurora hits 30 US dollar, oh, something went wrong here. Let's go back. So when Aurora hits the stock price of 30 US dollar, then Aurora is considering to accelerate to pay out more of his options. And so if you calculate it roughly, if the stock price of Aurora hits 20 US dollars in the 4 years went by, then he will get paid about 250 million dollars. And if the stock price hit 30 US dollars in 4 years, then he will get paid 400 million US dollar if he exercises all of his options. So that's right, a nice payment I would say for working about 4 years as an advisory on exploring potential partnership and global expansion. I think like that is I would like to have that pay. um, but okay, I read this news and I think like that's good, that's positive, but I was like more curious like who is Nelson Peltz really? Like why is this guy everybody so hyping about in the news, in the media? So of course I went and looked at this Wikipedia to have a briefly history about him, or who is. It doesn't tell much about who he is as a person, but Wikipedia can tell something about what the person's achievements are and what his history is a little bit like. So as you can see here, he's born from a Jewish family in 1942 in Brooklyn of New York. He's a high school dropout, not a high school dropout, but a university dropout. He was planning to become a ski instructor, but he ended up being a delivery driver for his grandfather's company, uh, Peltz and Sons, which was a uh, a wholesale food distribution business that was founded by his grandfather. So we skip here a little bit in time and to see that he has grown the business of his grandfather with his brother, expanded it and turned it into a successful business. And along the way, they acquire many businesses to increase the strength of their grandfather's business. So you can see that he has a lot of experience in buying up companies into the team and probably exploring or for creating partnerships as well. One of his amazing acquisition was Snapple, I believe. Snapple was at the time in 1997 was a business that was a bit struggling, and they acquired the business Snapple and they turned it around, and from this day still the case of Snapple turnaround still featured in Harvard's business case study. So you can see that Nelson Peltz has a lot of skills in business. He knows what he wants to do and how to make a business better, stronger, and grow faster. And it doesn't take long that a few years later, I mean a few years later, but with this investment fund, he acquired a lot of companies and he also bought a lot of shares into those companies. uh, which uh, gave him which gave him a very good network of interesting people or the companies that he knows. Like for example, for me, um, Kraft Foods. Uh, he knows he has connections here, so it would be maybe interesting for Aurora when they do something edible stuff with cannabis. Same here with Wendy's, but also he has a connection at PepsiCo. You guys probably know the brands of Pepsi, 7 Up, and so on. So this could be a potential partnership for uh, cannabis drinks. So with this kind of connection that Nelson knows, it can improve Aurora's business and increase it. And yeah, if you want to look more about the history of Nelson Peltz, you can just look at that Wikipedia, and you can see that yeah, he's with his hedge fund, he's in a lot of companies, and which make him a very interesting partner to have on advising and exploring partnerships, and of course the global expansion. So with all this, I have a more good reason, good faith in the CEO and their management team to keep Aurora in the global expansion and to become a market leader in the future of the cannabis industry, or at least one of the big players. Yeah, here just a real small uh, overview, like what our cannabis have done. They in 2018 they bought up Cannabis Met, which was at the time was at the stock market. They bought it for around, I believe, um, what did they say, for 1.1 billion. That's quite a lot. And with that, they bought a patient count up to 42k. So which is nice. So in the long term, they will earn their money back. And you can say here they bought Mat Relief, where they include with this acquisition they increased the cannabis production, and yeah, so going on. Like people are saying, if you look at the internet, at YouTube, of some YouTubers, uh, they are saying that management team of Aurora is diluting the share of the share owners. But I think if you look really only at the short term, then it might look like diluting. But they are investing very well and acquiring partnerships and buying up companies that makes sense for me for future growth. And yeah, you can see it like a case study, like with WhatsApp. WhatsApp was investing and burning a lot of money to growing their active users database. They never made a profit. They never tried to create a real revenue or anything. They were just making WhatsApp work and making WhatsApp great. And utterly, they were acquired by Facebook, but they are turning into yeah big value for Facebook, and a lot of money are being made right now with WhatsApp. So back to Aurora. Yeah, I'm really bullish on Aurora. I'm planning to buy more stocks of Aurora cannabis for the coming year. Um, I think the stock will eventually go up to about 30 30 30 US dollar. in the future. So if you look at the price level from now, which is currently $11.92, so you have a roughly 300% increase. So I think that's a really fair price, but it could be a lot bigger. Like the markets, like people are only just predicting how big the cannabis market can be, but with cannabis you can do so many things. Like you can uh, with the CBD they can uh, be a lot of value for the healthcare industry. With cannabis you can also make a new drinks where people make feel more relaxed. So instead of a energy drink you will get a relaxation drink, like a little bit with alcohol, uh, but also with the raw materials of cannabis or hemp, you can make it into clothing, and the it's very broad at this moment, and a lot of things they are still experimenting with the cannabis, and they trying to see what they can make out of it. So it's a really interesting industry at this moment. And uh, also would like to mention one more thing, and that is with each approval in the states of America, or legalization of cannabis in other parts of the world, ACB is really well prepared to enter those markets quickly as soon as this becomes legal. So there's a lot of billions to be made at the moment, and they are really well positioned to be first movers in many markets. So this was the stock review on cannabis. I hope you like it. Hit the subscribe button for more content about Aurora stocks or any other cannabis companies. I will be posting a lot more videos about stocks, dividend stocks, and everything else that is related to the stock markets from now on. And from time to time I will also announce which stocks I'm planning to invest in. So I hope that you will watch one of my videos again. So for now, see ya.